welcome to Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast. I have with me today's guest, Temoura Jefferies. Temoura, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, first and foremost, and congratulations on everything.
You.
So
Absolutely.
happy for you. Well, my name is Temoura Jefferies. I am the founder of the Buy Black Guide, which is a Black business directory founded here in the Triad. Our mission is to increase the brand awareness of Black-owned businesses. So if you have a Black-owned business, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook under the Buy Black Guide. So, yep.
Yay. So before we jump in and get like really deep, we're gonna start like just like light. We're gonna keep it light. So tell us, what is your go-to comfort food after a long day?
Girl, butter pecan ice cream.
Really?
That's where I'm at in life.
I know. That's right. Tell us a recently learned skill.
Ooh, let's see. How to organize my calendar. I feel like I was a little all over the place, so I've gotten better with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like you're like technical and very
I
organized.
feel like there's always room for improvement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll buy that. One last thing. What do you spend your free Saturday doing?
Ooh, hanging out with my kids.
I see that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I like Saturdays with the kids.
Okay. Good. Okay. So I just said, where do we meet?
Where do we meet? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're going to figure it out. So let's jump in. You created the Buy Black Guide during COVID,
Yes.
just out the blue.
Yes.
What made you want to?
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of us can remember, COVID was difficult, right? And we were separated from each other, and a lot of businesses were struggling, things like that. And so I've been a creative for a while. I started creating online back in like 2009. I had a blog and I did a YouTube and things like that. So during COVID, I wanted to use my creativity, but also impact the community. So I started with a Facebook post. I said, hey, I want to create something so we can find Black-owned businesses, drop your favorite Black-owned business. And so Juneteenth 2020, we launched with 100 Black-owned businesses. And so
Wow.
it was a passion project turned business. So, yeah.
Nice. She said passion project. Who has passion projects out here in the audience?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. How many businesses do you have now in the Buy Black Guide? Do you have
We
approximately?
have approximately over 500.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've been on a steady incline, based here in the Triad is home, but we also branch out to other states and cities too, but yeah.
Okay. And then you also do the bridal show.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, girl, that's, So the Black is Beautiful Bridal Show is a bridal show featuring all Black-owned businesses. So your bakers, your caterers, your designers, cater to grooms that look like us. My partner and I, both of us, when we were engaged, we were going to all the bridal shows, but never really saw vendors that looked like us. And so she reached out to me a couple of years ago with the idea. And since I had this house of business owners with the Buy Black Guide, it was like a perfect partnership. And so this year we're on our 5th show.
Okay.
So we've been doing it since 2022. So each year we look forward to it. Like, I love it.
Okay. I'm going off script. You also have a show on the WB?
WXII.
WXI,
Yes.
okay. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's called Buy Black Triad. It's basically a live news segment where I spotlight 3 Black-owned businesses. And so we have different categories, whether it's like mobile businesses or self-care businesses. And so, yeah, we spotlight different businesses in the Triad.
Okay. And then content creating.
Yep. And so then I work one-on-one with business owners because what I found is that, like, I can get people to come to your page, your Instagram, but then what? Like, what keeps them there? And so I work one-on-one with business owners to create captivating content so then they can convert those views to clients. So.
Okay. I wanted to call all of that out because one of my reasonings for wanting to do the podcast is because I want to bring women together that we can inspire each other to follow our dreams.
For sure.
And that's what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Like, you are very intentional about connecting with other women to help us reach our goals.
Absolutely.
So before there was a podcast, last year I decided that I wanted to take Transparency with Tiffany to another level, and you helped me with that.
Yes.
And so what inspires you to want to help other women?
I just love us for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can start there. So my blog back many, many years ago, 2009, it started off as a natural hair blog. And I was there to share my journey to inspire women that were kind of going through the same thing. Then I started sharing the journeys of other women because we all look different. We have different hair textures, things like that. So I think I've always been passionate about helping people tell their stories in creative ways. And so when we worked together, you know, I was super excited. I'm like, yes, you know, so to see you here, congratulations on the next level of the blog. And so keep going.
Yes. Okay, and then I left off something. Your networking events.
Oh yeah. So, you know, I love to get the people together,
Yes.
you know, because as business owners, we got to connect, you know, sometimes we got to unwind, right?
Yes.
So I have a networking event that mixes wine and networking. So you can kind of let your hair down a little bit. And so we do those every quarter. So yeah.
Can y'all help me give it up for her? Because she grinding. Yes. Okay. So are there any specific experiences that took you on these directions?
No, I think I just always wanted to create, Tiffany, really, and be impactful, honestly. And then prayer. So I prayed for something. I was, and during pandemic, for me, my personal journey, because I had done all these things in the past, I was like, what's next? You know, what's next? And I prayed about it, and God was like, well, how about this? And he literally downloaded the idea of the BBG. So I have to give it up to him all the time, because I wouldn't even be here today without him. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going way left. Have you ever worked like corporate America or anything?
Absolutely, girl.
Yay! I had no idea.
Yes, ma'am. So I've only been an entrepreneur about 3 years.
Okay.
And so my husband has been my biggest supporter. You know, I had the
love him
BBG.
too.
Girl.
He is a good supporter.
Like I couldn't even do this without him because on those days where I'm like, I need to get a job, you know, it's looking a little. And he's like, keep going. You know, he's like, the energy you would put into somebody else's business, what if you do that to your own? Like, think about where it would be. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to say, who is your biggest supporter or mentor through this journey, and what impact have they had on you?
Husband, definitely biggest supporter. And I've met so many amazing women along the way that have showed up as mentors for me, just in different levels. Because when I first started, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the BBG, but now I've met mentors that specialize in like marketing and communications, and they kind of feed into me and help me get my business in order. So yes, a couple of them that's been there for sure.
Do you feel like you mentor other women?
I think other people think I mentor them,
Yes.
but I don't really, sometimes
way.
I don't feel qualified to be mentoring somebody, right? Because I'm like, I'm just getting started, you know, so yeah.
Audience, do we mentor out here? Mentors or mentees? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's a mentee, right? We're like mentees.
Yes, yes. Because I think a lot of times for us, we want to be poured into.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we're not comfortable pouring.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things, so you know, I love following you. And a lot of your posts relate to me because you talk about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, like when those moments show up, tell us how you're feeling and how you move past them.
Yeah, for sure. Imposter syndrome is a beast, right? And it shows up in ways that I'm like, I thought I beat this. I thought I overcame this, right? So in those moments, I think for me, I have to reflect on the projects I've done, the clients I've worked with, the impact I've made. And then I'm like, okay, Temoura, you can do this, right? You've been here before. This opportunity, you were scared. You didn't feel like you were qualified. And look, so sometimes it takes looking at your own receipts for me to be like, girl, you got this, you know?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Look at your own receipts.
Yeah.
Do we do that enough? Am I the only one that's like, I am my worst critic?
Yeah, literally. But then you sometimes have to look at it like, okay, girl, you do a little something. You know, you do a little something.
Yeah. That was one of the things in launching the podcast, the production company had to tell me, it was like, sit in this moment.
For sure.
And like really, you know, just enjoy the moment. But it's like, I'm like just doubting myself. Like, can I really do this? I suffer from imposter syndrome like really bad.
Yeah,
too.
so how do you like kind of work through it?
I have other people.
Okay.
And like you said, I have started going back through my journal and looking at my receipts. Really like talking to myself. Prayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prayer.
For
Counseling.
sure. Yeah. All that.
Yeah. Yep. What message do you hope to convey to other women who deal with imposter syndrome?
I mean, just do it. You know, like what's on the other side of fear? Because we know what's here, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I want everything God has for me. So what's on the other side of that fear, that doubt that we self-sabotage ourselves with, right? And so that's what I would say. Like, what's on the other side? Let's just jump and see, you know?
Let's just jump.
Let's just
I
jump.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think a lot of time for women, those are our two big things for us: is self-sabotage and imposter
Absolutely.
syndrome. Yeah. Yeah.
But why we
And
do
that's
it, I
the
don't know.
thing. I know.
Yeah.
But that's also one of the reasons why I've launched into the podcast, because I want us to have these safe spaces where we can come together. And it's not just about sitting here on a couch and having conversations. Like, to my audiences, I want that to be a takeaway.
Yeah.
That when we talk about these things, I want the women to leave and say, what can I do different?
Yeah.
Like intentional, like what are some of the things that I can do?
Yeah.
What is a routine? What is a new thing that I can put in place to
Absolutely.
be better? You wear a lot of hats. How well are you about putting you on your calendar?
Terrible.
Are you?
Terrible. Yes.
Why are we like that?
Why are we like that? I don't know. But this year I've been more intentional about it. The end of last year, I vowed to myself I would prioritize myself more in the next year. And so for me, that looks like getting up early enough to have moments with myself, working out, drinking more water. Like, I love a little spa day, things like that. But I'm like, what are the things you need to do to really like impact the rest of your day, right? Because mental health is important. So I feel like I'm trying to set myself up to each day is a good day. And to me, overall, that's prioritizing myself. So yeah.
The Peloton?
Yes.
Are you still getting on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay!
Me and her, we're connected again. It's been a while, but we back.
Yes. And you know what? That's another thing. I think we're so hard on ourselves. Like, we stop and then we just give up. Like, we don't go back.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm proud of you for
and
going
this
back.
year, I'm like, I'm not doing it. You know, because we get one life. This is the shot. So we just got to take it.
Yeah, that's good. What has been the hardest lesson or the thing that has caught you off guard that ended up being like an unexpected lesson for you?
Well, I think I've missed opportunities because of procrastination, right? Like when those emails or phone calls or text messages come in and you're like, I don't really feel like it right now. Like, I'll get back to it. And then it's gone, right? Which was a lesson I had to learn to now I'm jumping at it. Like, I'm responding. Even if I can't get the work done right now, I'm going to respond. I'm going to get the conversation going. Because I've missed out on some things just because I assumed it would always be there. Like, it'll be there when I get back. So, yeah.
I heard the audience say some see some heads nodding. Okay. What role do you believe that the community and the support networks play in helping women find their voices?
Because we fuel each other. I think we thrive off shared energy.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's important to build community and be with like minds for sure.
Yeah. Do you think we do that well, though?
I think we do. I don't think we get as much credit as we deserve when it comes to that, because I'd be in some good spaces, right? Now, granted, you're not going to connect with everybody on the same level, right? There's levels to this thing, but I think community is important. I think it's just to be in the room. I know I have a lot of friends that are introverts, and they're like, I can't go to these networking events. It's too much. Sometimes just being a wallflower and taking in that energy and seeing how people carry themselves and see how people speak about themselves and their business, like, you can internalize that and help you grow. So.
Yeah. And you always talk about how you don't like to speak and talk about people, but you do it so well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I always say all the time that was one of the things, like, I feel like I'm a connector. And I say, the world says that, especially Black women, we can't get along. We hate on each other. Like, I live every day to prove, like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, and my sister jokes with me all the time, like, you have all these different pockets of friends. I'm like, I think it's healthy. And I think that is how we move forward.
Yeah.
And I do really hope that is one of the things that people will get out of the podcast, is that if nothing else, like connection.
Absolutely.
So, we're gonna take this time to put some questions from the crowd.
Hi, so Temoura, this question is for you. I follow you on social media, and I have honestly missed your information that you share on the imposter syndrome. So can you define that a little more for us? What is your definition of the imposter syndrome?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me that looks like opportunities arising and I'm not feeling qualified or feel like I've put the work in to be in that position, where I have put the work in, but in that moment it's like I ain't ready for that, and to me, I think that comes off of childhood, right? I used to get teased, picked on like that, and so those things kind of stick with you a little bit. So then when opportunities come, you're like, me? me? Are you sure it's me? And so that's how imposter syndrome shows up for me. And so I'm just working through that. I feel like it's something I'm always gonna have to work through, but I'm more mindful of it and knows when it like shows its face. And I'm like, nah, not this time. Because I've done it before. Like I can, So sometimes you gotta hype yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure. Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
I got asked to be on some boards for 2025, and I almost turned them down for that reason. I was like, me?
Yeah.
Seeing who the other board members were.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, in my mind, I was saying, I'm not in that league.
Yeah.
And so
And you
how,
are though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wouldn't even be called for the opportunity
Right.
if you weren't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to learn how to see ourselves the way other people see
Yes.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
even I pray that a lot, like, God, help me see me the way that you see me.
Same prayer, sis.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Somebody tell me, who is your biggest supporter on your journey right now?
Oh.
Yes.
My husband is my biggest supporter. 2 years ago, my mother passed away from COVID. And so I wanted to find a way, two things, in transparency, how to deal with my grief, and second, how to let her legacy continue. So I started a foundation in her name for nursing students that attend HBCUs. My mother was a nursing student, but she never got to finish. So my passion is to help other students. And so I'm doing a brunch in her name. It's actually in June instead of May this year. So it's just the first of many, but I have a question if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, statement first. When people give you praise, it's hard for me to accept it. How do you embrace that?
That's good. That's good. I feel like I'm still working through that myself. Yeah, sometimes I have to have like a dedicated moment to take it in. Because in like the time, I let it, But sometimes I have to sit back and reflect. I'm big on that because in a moment I won't receive it well. But I'll sit back. So I think I'm still working through that, honestly. Yeah.
One of my good friends, Princess, used to say, just say thank you. Because a lot of times when people say, oh, that's pretty, this old thing, like I think that's like our natural reaction is to not accept it.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had to learn to say, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. And congratulations on everything you have going on. That's amazing. Welcome.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Just be yourself.
That's good.
Right? Because like what Sarah Jakes Roberts said, God can't bless the person you're pretending to be, he only blesses you. And so I think being yourself and showing up authentically is the best advice I could have received.
That's good.
So, Candace, I recognize a familiar face in the audience. Hey, boo.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So, I love everything you're doing in the community. Super impactful work. What's one of the biggest pieces of advice that you received?
Definitely was a roller coaster year. A lot went on, and it's a passion project for me as well, right? Just really want to see our community thrive, mind, body, and spirit, and what does that look like, right? And so going out into the community and sharing health and wellness has been an amazing experience, and just doing the very same things that I once did for my corporate counterparts, right? I grind for myself in that same way. So meeting as many individuals as I could, getting in front of as many of people as I could, impactful relationship building has been foundational for TCC. So I'm super excited about where that takes us into year 2. But not being afraid to put yourself out there is the biggest piece of advice that I have.
Absolutely. That's good. Yeah.
We have just wrapped up our final session and our first season of Transparent with Yes! Temoura, thank you for being our final guest.
Absolutely.
Can we give her a round of applause?
Thank you.
And thank you to our audience. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. And so as we wrap up again, I've been very excited about this. I am super excited about 2025 and everything that is in store. To my viewing audience, I want to say to you that I want to make sure that you are intentional this year about finding your voice and putting yourself first. As you leave from this space today, make sure that you go and find us on your social media sites. We are Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And be sure to stay tuned for season 2. Thank you. Hi, I am Tiffany, and this is the Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast. And I am taking this moment really to celebrate myself. I am excited. I am proud of me for starting 2025 off for doing something for myself. And so this is going to be something that I will bring a platform together where women will come together, where we will have a space where we will inspire each other. We will come together to, we just got this from the last podcast recording of the first session. We're going to be pushers. And so this is what this moment is for me. So cheers.
Cheers.
Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.
Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.
I am so excited for Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast. Thank you, Tiffany.
Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.
Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.
Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.